What's going on, guys? What's cracking? We're about to leave right now because I have a special thing I'm going to be doing today. Well, I'm just going to show you when I get there, if it's not already in the thumbnail of this video, because I'm so excited right now. If you guys saw the last video there, I had this car ceramic coated, which is all nice, and I still, no matter what, you guys see here, look at the taillights. Fine, darker. No idea why. Replaced all the bulbs across the entire thing. But when you take this off, even take everything out, like for some reason this is darker tint. I tried to clean the inside. We buffed the outside perfectly smooth. We don't know why that one's darker. I cannot figure it out. So weird. It's kind of bugging me. But the car looks so damn good. Like, I wish I could get it better on camera here, but the car looks so sharp. Really like the way this turned out. All right, guys. So I just showed up here in Greencastle. We're here with Jason. This is his beautiful car. How long have you owned this now? Since when?
I bought it in 96.
96. Okay, and this is a 93.5, guys, which means it is a Premier Edition. It is an originally black car. We'll show you here, is multiple different colors now, and we're at this iteration where it's the original gloss black on the front with these flames coming off it and to a flat black. It is an original 6-speed car too, guys, which I didn't realize. We're gonna open the door here. You guys can see the original 6-speed car. It has been sitting for a while. You can see there's a little bit of mold and stuff on it here. So it needs a little bit of TLC, but nothing that can't be fixed. Got the old AFC up there. Just definitely reminds me of the old days. I believe that's an old Veil side wing. We've got Racing Heart wheels here. It's a very cool car. You can see where that used to be a really shiny white where they painted it back in the day. So Jason, I see you have it apart here also. So what was your end goal? What was the plan for the car here? You know, where were you headed? I see you got the motor over here. So what was their original plan?
Yeah, so the original plan was to take the factory engine out. I was going to put the new engine in. That engine should put out over 2,000 horsepower at the wheels. It's mostly Titan and Powerhouse Racing. I also have new interior, which you kind of saw there, to go into the car.
Yep.
Just to get the car back and running, and then honestly, after I had it running, I was going to sell it. So at this point, I have too many other things going on, and I'm actually looking to get rid of the car now. So
that's right.
That's where we stand right now with the car. It was a running engine when it was all together. I just took off some components off of it so that I could pull the engine out to get the new one put in. But it does run. The car has in the upper 70s to low 80s on it.
And it does look like, you can see, guys, everything could be bolted back up. It just obviously
all bolted. That's all I took off. Anything that bolted onto it.
Still has a stock side mount. You guys can see the piping that's running there, and it should be right there. Factory side mount, which you rarely see anymore.
So this car, Ryan can tell you, this car's probably been featured in, if he takes a scan up there, it's been in every one of those magazines over the years. So it's been in multiple Super Street magazines. It's been in Import Racer, Euro Tuner, HCI, Sport Compact. It was on the cover of Super Street for a Nopi issue. If you would follow some old videos, we used to take it to Nopi in Atlanta all the time. It's won multiple shows. I kind of got rid of all the trophies that it won over the years, but it's won multiple times at Carlisle. Again, it won at Nopi multiple times. So it's a very well-known car back in the day whenever we used to take it around everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I remember personally seeing it all the time. Guys, I saw this car everywhere back in the day. Like, every time I would see it on the highway, you couldn't miss it because it was this beautiful, like, pearl white in the back, and it had these cool chameleon flames in the front. And this iconic wing, like it was an old school Veil side wing. You can always tell the car, and I never knew who owned it until Jason here hit me up one day. I believe was it on Facebook or was it through email? I can't remember.
Through email.
Yeah, and he said about coming down to look at the car. This was probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I mean, it was a while ago.
It's been a while.
And it's just cool for me because it's a car that, one of those cars that me growing up being a kid made me like want an import, you know, especially a Supra. I had no idea what they were. I had a Celica at the time, and now seeing it in person makes you realize how cool this car really is. There's purple seats. You got the painted dash. Has the original steering wheel in it. It is a target top car, guys, and again, it is a true Getrag 6-speed car. Everything shuts nicely still. Again, Jason is trying to sell this car. I personally wanted to come down and look at it because I'm quite interested in the car for myself. Again, it does have Racing Heart wheels on it, which, if you guys know, they haven't been made for, good lord, probably 15 or more years now. Beautiful wheels, cool 3-piece. Now, the one thing I wanted to show you guys is this motor. He just kind of glazed over. We're going to walk over here and kind of get a little bit of rundown of this motor. So what made this happen? I mean, you obviously that motor is running fine, but what made you like, you know what, I want to start making some more power? What gave you the bug or the itch? Because everyone has that moment.
So originally, I bought the head. So I was just going to put the head on the factory engine, just so it would get me into the 600 horsepower, upper 500, 600 horsepower range. Then once I thought about it, I thought, well, I'll just buy the stroker engine. So that's when I bought the stroker, the bottom end to it. Got the turbo and just went from there and put all the rest of the componentry on it. Everything's not on it that I have.
Sure.
Everything's still not finished yet, but again, it should put out over 2,000 horsepower when it's finished.
Guys, you can see here, obviously he adapted it so it runs directly off the block for the oil filter. We've got a billet tensioner. We've got unorthodox racing or powerhouse racing.
Powerhouse.
Powerhouse racing. Cam gears. I think there's ARP bolts.
ARP bolts.
It's hard to show. I mean, a motor's a motor. I know, guys, you're probably like, well, I can't see the inside, and I wish I could show you. Obviously, it is a built motor. I wish I could show you the internals, but I can't. Looks like they modified the pan, too, so you could get more oil in it.
Yep.
If you guys know, we have a rear sump on these motors, and they do have a tendency to run low. If you're running high boost and stuff, obviously you have more oil pressure and stuff going through it, so this was a smart move. I haven't seen this done in quite some time, but it's a good idea to do. So, guys, I kind of want to give you a rundown how we got the car. You said you got it in Chambersburg at RPM Motors, so how did that go, or who owned it back then?
So, back in the day, a doctor owned this out of Chambersburg, and I remember that doctor buying this car because I used to babysit his kids, and I remember him bringing this car home from Toyota, brand new. So a few years had gone by, and the car was painted chrome illusion, the entire car was. And I just happened to be going by RPM Motors and saw this car sitting there, and at the time, I think I owned Trans Am or something like a 94 Trans Am. And I zip around, turn around, go back, asked him if the car was for sale, and he said it was on consignment from the doctor that used to own the car.
Sure.
So the next day, I went up, I took a buddy with me. I'd never drove a Supra ever, always wanted one. We took it out for a test drive. As soon as the turbos kicked in, I looked over and said, I'm buying the car. So I turn around, I go back, and my buddy that owned the RPM Motors, I go in, I said, I'll be back tomorrow with the cash to buy the car. So I leave, and then I think, I didn't even ask him how much the car was, right? So I had to call him up, ask him how much the car was. I went back the next day and bought the car, and I enjoyed the car immensely for years. Like, you know, we were talking with Ryan, and I took this thing everywhere. People have seen this thing at car shows, hot rod shows, Carlisle, you name it. This car used to be on basically the show circuit scene back in the day when it was really huge back in the day.
Sure.
Just awesome.
That's so cool. I love stories like hearing stuff like that, like, because you never know where these cars came from originally. Like, for someone to tell, like, okay, I bought it from the original owner who was a doctor, and I've owned it ever since, and it's now 2019. Not a lot of people keep their cars that long, and it's cool to hear that it's been in your hands this entire time, and all these changes have happened under your hands, which is very, very cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've had to paint this car about 6 times. It got keyed twice when it was all chrome illusion, and you can't blend that paint, so you have to repaint the whole car. So I had to have it repainted. The people that actually did this paint job was Amsley's Auto Body out of Chambersburg.
Yep.
So
they painted my Celica back in the day.
Yeah, Amsley has done stuff for Jay Leno and multiple other movie stars, so he's really good. The flame work was laid out by Kibbs Airworks, and he's just on the outside of Chambersburg. He does a lot of airbrushing for motorcycles and stuff. So he came in, laid out the flames, and then Amsley's actually painted it for me then. But they did a great job.
Yeah,
great job.
Very cool. I remember, like, again, guys, I wish you had detailed pictures. Maybe if you could send me some, I'll post them up for you guys here. What the car looked like back in the day, and the couple iterations it was.
Let me pull this magazine. So back in 2001, this was on the Nopi Nationals. If you went to that, and Super Street, this was the cover for the Nopi Nationals for 2002.
That's so cool.
So that picture was actually taken in Atlanta, Georgia. We were leaving one of the stops that you make when you go on a Nopi Nationals tour back in the day.
Yep.
And we used to be really good friends with the guys at Super Street Magazine, a gentleman by the name of Derek Yee. He was one of the editors. He was actually hanging out the back of a Penske truck driving down that major highway, filming us and taking pictures for the next year for that magazine. So that was actually September of 2003 is from when that was.
That's so cool. Like, so, and that's back in the day, like when I had Super Street Sport Compact magazine before that went under. I think Super Street, and I think that's about Import Tuners, the only magazines really left anymore. I mean, realistically, they've all gone under now. I mean, I can't think you could.
Honda tuning, you can't even get them anymore, I don't think.
No, there's very few paper magazines anymore, just because the internet killed. I mean, let's be honest, the internet killed it.
Yeah.
Not that's a bad or good thing. I mean, it's cool having the internet, but it was cool, like, once a month getting that magazine. Like, came in the mail, that was always like, oh man, I can't wait to go through those. You see the latest parts, like, that doesn't happen anymore.
Ordered parts.
Yeah, seriously, you would look it up, and that's how we'd order everything.
Them out of the magazine and send it in the mail.
No doubt.
Yep, not anymore. It's everyone's now. You click it, and it's here in 2 days. If it takes longer than 2 days, you're like, it takes way too long. Everything you take 2 weeks till you got it. If that was it, everything was special ordered back in the day. Everything had to come from Japan for these kind of cars. Like there's very few companies that made stuff here in the U.S. that was any good for the most part. The Japanese stuff, the American-made stuff for Japanese cars was pretty janky. For the most part, most of the stuff was not the highest quality. Not like it is now.
Yeah, so most of the parts that I have for this car to replace it, you know, I've been accumulating them over the years. So, like Ryan said, there's parts that I have they don't even make anymore for this thing. So, if and when someone buys the car, you know, there's parts on here. If someone needs a replacement for something that they already have that's years old, I probably have the part for it.
Which is really cool. A lot of that stuff people will pay some good money for just to have some of the older stuff. Like, he's got an old school Goretti type R blow-off valve over here, guys, which I haven't seen in quite some time. It's in an original box, too. Some people might buy it just to sit it up on their shelf just because it's like a nostalgia thing.
I bought that in '97, I believe. So that's been in that box since 1997.
Holy cow. And they look, guys, if you remember Venom from back in the day, Nitrous System, like that's old school to me. I remember that company being so big, and now you know, they're no longer around either. But that was they made just about everything back in the day.
Yep, they made cam gears. Actually, somewhere here is a Venom cam gear.
I see. I never knew that.
Supra, yep.
That's so cool, Jason. Again, man, thank you so much. The car's awesome, guys. I don't. Let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think of the car? What do you think of this as a project for the channel? This is something I personally would like to buy for myself. The MR2 would go away, but we'd gain another Supra, and which is, well, way cooler than an MR2. Here's an exhaust he has here too, guys.
When I bought that, he gave me this too.
The mid pipe.
No mid pipe.
Yep, old mid pipe came off the turbo there, V-band. That is old school there. That's cool. See, they just welded it all as one piece where the flange was. That's awesome. And how long ago was this probably? God,
oh my gosh.
Years upon years ago.
And years ago. And all this stuff just
see it
been
next down.
sitting for years.
And then the flange here, they actually welded together, guys. Hey, if it works though, right? I mean, this exhaust is very cool too. So guys, that's the car. What do you think? What's your opinion? What do you think the car is worth? Jason's gonna have the car for sale here. I personally wanted the car, but I'm just not sure how I feel about it at this time. What do you guys feel about the car? What are your opinions on it? Let me know down in the comments below. What do you feel it's worth? Jason would like this motor and the car sold. He would like everything sold as one whole piece if he could, but he's willing to separate parts and pieces if he needs to. If you guys would, if you need to, or if you're really truly interested in the car, please hit me up on my email. Please only do that if you're truly interested in buying the car. But what do you guys think it's worth? Let me know in the comments. Again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in today. If you are, you know you're excited about seeing the build build series for the Supra here. The turbo kit and stuff is almost done. I just got an update today. Super excited about that. Thank you guys very much, and I will talk to you later. Peace!